Skip it up and that up.
Gabe Newell has an announcement.
I'm Gabe Newell.
Oh, Gabe, yeah.
So there is more Steambox news. PC developer iBuyPower revealed their first images of their prototype Steam machine, a white box, and here it is. The system is set to launch in 2014, and the hardware will be able to run Steam titles in 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second, which that has me scratching my head a little bit, but I'll explain later. No other details were revealed about the hardware, but iBuyPower did show off two variations of their white box. When not illuminated, the white bar in the middle is clear on one machine and black on the other. One has been codenamed Gordon, and the other one Freeman. The machine runs a very early version of SteamOS, and it's not quite a finished product. With CES just around the corner, I am sure we will find out some more information on iBuyPower's Steam machine / machines. So I'm psyched for this. I'm interested to see what these Steam machines are going to offer, but the whole 1080p 60 frames per second thing leaves me scratching my head. There's obviously going to be variations in the hardware. That's been confirmed by Valve themselves. So is there going to be something with games on the Steam machines where they're going to know, okay, you have this model of Steam machine, and these are the ideal settings to let your game run at 1080p 60 frames per second, and it's going to be autopilot, so people who aren't, tech-savvy nerds like you or I, who know how to change settings and know what kind of video card they have and what capabilities they have, is the Steam machine just going to go, okay, you have a GTX 770 in here, you could basically max out everything except, anti-aliasing, and if you do these settings, you're going to be able to play the game at 1080p 60 frames per second. I'm hoping that's what they're going to have. I'm hoping they're going to have this ecosystem where the SteamOS will know, okay, you want to play Resident Evil 7. I couldn't think of a better game. I don't know why. It's not existent yet. But anyway, you want to play Resident Evil 7 at 1080p 60 frames per second. Boom. These are the settings that you have to have with this hardware to make that happen. These are the best possible graphics you can get to get that frame rate and that resolution. That's all you could do. This is exactly what you need. That would be smart, okay? Or if someone buys a entry-level Steam box with like a quad-core AMD chipset and so like a GTX 660, and okay, you need these settings to get 1080p 60 frames per second. Or, unless you want all the settings on low and you want to just have the high resolution, why don't you go down to 720p and you could put all your settings maxed out and still get 60 frames per second with your budget rig. That'll be smart if they kind of have like their own version, like their GeForce Experience Index on steroids. Maybe they're going to work with NVIDIA on that. Who knows? So people could just download a game and play it. Because I have guys like me who are PC nerds, we already have our machines. We don't need a Steam box, even though I'm probably going to end up getting one anyway because I'm a nerd. But you're going to have people who aren't tech savvy, who aren't into building PCs, who don't understand the technology, who are just going to want the games to work. So I'm hoping, by the fact they said all the Steam games all the SteamOS games are going to run at 1080p 60 frames per second, that they have some kind of system like that in place. Here's hoping they do, because that'll definitely help the sales of the Steam machine if people would just download a game, play, and get the best possible experience their hardware can give them. Now, here's an interesting side note. I was looking up a couple other things, and this iBuyPower Steam machine is going to basically kind of have an AMD system on a chip, just like the PS4 and Xbox One have. It's going to be a beefy system on a chip, an APU. So I'm really interested now, man. It'll be interesting to see what's going on with this Steam box, or this Steam machine, I mean to say. I still call it a Steam box. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens at CES. Let's see, if it's actually going to cost $499, which is the rumor I'm hearing right now. That would be crazy. If you could get a machine that runs Steam like the PC users are having, and you could have it run games at 1080p 60 frames per second, only cost $500, man, Microsoft and Sony are going to be breaking a sweat. And Nintendo too, even though they're kind of in a different ballpark. But wow, this is interesting stuff. This is definitely catching my attention. So let's see what happens, guys. This is bringing this to a whole new level in my book. All right, folks, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting Review Tech USA. Have a good one. And right now I have a huge boner if this iBuyPower Steam machine is only going to be $4.99. I know that's probably TMI, but the boner is real. Enjoy that visual.